What is up, fellas? Hopefully all is well. Number 5, West Virginia, devastated. They fall 28-23 to unranked Maryland. Maryland actually stays undefeated. 2-0 going into the game, now 3-0 after the 5-point victory against Pat White. Steve Slayton, maybe Stedman Bailey back then, I don't know. But going, take a glimpse at the Heisman watch. Got number 5, Mr. Dan McFadden, leading the march. John David Buda behind him. Don't remember wide receiver number 22 from Bama. You got Chad Henne right there. And to end the list, a man who is going to become familiar, I'd imagine, for the rest of the season at least. That's Jamal Charles out of the University of Texas. Junior running back. I mean, speed demon. Dude's just a beast. I think he's only like 90 overall. But ends up making it to the NFL. Obviously, I think he goes after this season playing with a pretty good team. I think it's like Brian Arakpo and a younger Colt McCoy. But looking right there, Vogel Pell. We got a couple of guys scheduled for visits. And I think they're going to be scheduled for visits for the following week against Oklahoma State. But this week, I think it's going to be the first test for this Texas A&M Aggie team. Number 21 of the country. Got, of course, the trio broadcast commentators. Brad Nessler, Kirk Herbstreit, and, of course, Coach Lee Corso here in Miami, Florida. Weather seems pretty calm. Doesn't seem to be too hot. I mean, really, is 82 degrees that hot? Maybe it is in whatever region you are in the United States, but definitely not here in Texas. But 82 degrees hot. It's pretty calm weather for a hurricane, but you never know. In real life, Texas A&M went into this stadium and did not look good whatsoever. I believe they are undefeated as well, but the man leading this team so far for this season, 11-2 is his touchdown to interception ratio. Stephen McGee leading the charge for this team, having very solid game management. But not only that, I mean, the guy has had a couple games with at least 3 touchdowns. I think it was the 4 or 5 touchdown game against Montana State. But it's going to be Miami winning the toss. They're going to elect to receive, and this is one of the better running backs in the ACC, possibly the country. The dude's talented. This offense is going to try to rely on him quite a bit. But I think it sets up for a good matchup. D-tackle number 85 gets the stop right there. First tackle of the game for him. He's only averaging just over a tackle a game. The type of, the names of Michael Bennett. Got, I think, Harrington on the outside as well on the left end. And you also have, well, Jesus Christ. Speaking of, you want to talk about front sevens facing each other. This is a solid front seven, too. I believe they have a star safety on this team for sure, but I think they have a star defensive end, maybe a D-tackle, a guy that can line up in the edge technique, and as kind of like a nose guard type. But a wide receiver that hasn't really been that involved on this offense all too much has been this wide receiver number 8. I think he's by far the fastest player we have in this wide receiver core. He's not the biggest, though. Obviously, that's going to be owned by wide receiver number 2, who needs to get utilized quite a bit more, in my opinion, especially in the red zone. But here it is, 4th down, not able to convert. Again, like I said, this is a solid front 7, but is this man about to earn himself a penalty? Yes, he is. 3rd and inches, make it an automatic first down. I'm pretty sure the ball is going to be maybe around the 13 or the 12-yard line for Texas A&M, not just straight up 15 yards. I think it's too close, yeah. It's going to be on the 13-yard line, but Javorski Lane gets held up a little bit. The pulling guard gets blown up on the play just because the open gap from the play. But here we go. Nice pass set up on 3rd down. Steve McGee's going to hit his man, Mike Goodson, and then punching into the end zone. A guy with a great amount of strength, size, obviously. The J-Train gets it done. He's leading the team in rushing touchdowns. Not total touchdowns, but rushing touchdowns. This Texas A&M offense more so banking again on very, very solid play by the defense. And a nice drive overall. Texas A&M is going to go up 7-0. As you can see right there, just not high efficiency, but it's going to get things done. But an efficient runner at that. Definitely halfback number 5. Just going into this game, I didn't think they were going to use him this much. But the dude's a beast. But I felt at the same time, though, there's going to be a front 7 who's not only performing well, but, you know, just talented enough to go up against him. It's these linebackers as well as the front 4 right there with the defensive line. But speaking of just getting lucky, Not great coverage. I think that's one thing we're going to have to work on. I think also, too, if Mike Goodson has this ball, I think that gets taken to the house. Again, J-Train only has an 82 overall speed. Of course, that's not what he's going to be used for the most part, but it's going to be Mike Goodson running plays such as this, but a nice run by Stephen McGee, but just not very aware, almost turns it over on the pitch, and then barely on third down and inches, getting first right there. But 3rd and 10, another third down conversion. While Miami was dropping passes on third down, Texas A&M is just working quite well on their third down conversions, make it a second one in a row. Could it be a third one in a row? Unfortunately not. Stephen McGee just not fast enough to run away from the defenders on that one. And then here it is. I mean, it's just a punt, but it could be probably the best play low-key of the game. It was a sick-ass punt. I mean, the bounce on that was just unreal. Just set them up in a bad position. And speaking, though, of good awareness right here, Miami's quarterback manages to barely sneak it out. We're going to show the highlight right here after the sack by left outside linebacker number 37. That's his name, but we've technically moved him to middle linebacker so we could have technically the 3 best, most talented players at the linebacker positions. Since middle linebacker, ever since middle linebacker number 10 left, I think his last name was Warren. For Texas A&M, I think it was NCAA 2007, just last year. Dude was like a beast, like 90, 91, 92 overall. But speaking of a guy who's like 91 overall right now after training camp, it's Mike Goodson. He's been more so the efficient third down back, a guy, a change of pace. And he's obviously been able to just get a shit ton of all-purpose yards. He's already scored a couple touchdowns with special teams, in addition to the 3 or 4 touchdowns he's already scored in this offense, whether it's either rushing the ball or a couple catching touchdowns. But this offense is still going to be rolling. Steve McGee's getting down the field. It's 14-0 still. Defense is holding up. Scoreless game so far. And then a beautiful, beautiful Dilfer's dime by Stephen McGee. 35 yards by quarterback number 7 to our man O'Neal. Getting things done, now up by 3 possessions. Texas A&M just getting things done, fellas. Just getting things done. Only 112 yards through the air, but considering how well this defense is playing, again, another jinx. But also, too, it took an amazing catch by wide receiver number 9. Look right there. Only 5 attempts on the day. You gotta attempt more than that, even at this point. You're already just down 14 anyways before it changes into our possession on offense in order to get to 21 points. So I don't know exactly what was going on with this coach. I don't know what was going on with cornerback number 4. I know he's the best cornerback on this defense, but he should have caught that interception because also, too, sick play right here. I think it's really cool when, it seemed like the offense and the computer CPU was just pretty straightforward. They're just coming in with that really aggressive rushing attack, but that's just not going to get it done, especially when you're already down by 3 touchdowns. You got to switch it up anyways, let alone the fact that trying to switch it up from, a rushing attack when you're already down by 3 touchdowns, it kind of seems you need to be doing that. But a sick play right here to switch things up. Run the fake field goal. Get it done. But right here, just over 22 seconds left. And it's just going to be, it's just a dead play. But on the last play of the half, going to be an interception by our man, Mr. Peterson. Number 27, sophomore cornerback. Dude's pretty much as good as the second best cornerback on this team. So I'm looking forward to him for the next couple of seasons. I don't think he's solid enough to go to the NFL after next year. So I'm looking forward to having this guy. He was one of my favorite defenders for Texas A&M, watching him grow, or watching him while I was growing up on their defense. He's a pretty solid player, and he's pretty athletic too. But speaking of pretty athletic, not great speed, but the man is definitely agile for his size. J-Train gets a first down on that one. Then a nice first down pass right there by Steve McGee. Beautiful pitch on that play. It's not going to be a first down for Mike Goodson. But, man, that seemed like a 15-yard jump on that play, since it seemed like it was about to be, 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And then Steve McGee utilizing his legs right here. Just a quick decision to get the fuck out. Made a similar play to B.J. Simmons. But the speed isn't there. It's going to be a highlight sack by number 24. They sent the house on the left side of the line. They weren't able to pick it up, even though A&M has 2 solid on that left side of the offensive line. Makes sense. Right-handed quarterback. Solid left tackle, especially compared to the right side of the line. But just not enough time. And then the man Martellus Bennett on the play. It's technically the most talented rated player on this offense. He's like 92 overall. Pretty much one of the better tight end prospects we've seen out of high school for a good while. I know there's been a couple of other ones as well, but still, Martellus Bennett, him and Michael Bennett come to A&M. Nice duo right there, and it's pretty cool that like both of them just playing on opposite sides of the field. Probably wouldn't have been fun to play these guys, but it is what it is. Huge play. Speaking of tight ends, tight end number 11 from Miami. Gonna take this one to the house, but fortunately enough, the flag and the refs come in to play on this one. It was 3rd and inches. It was a great play call, play action. Last thing I was anticipating, especially considering how often this team has been choosing to elect to run the ball at this point. Still 24-7 though. That penalty really screwed them over, but a nice pass right here to number 5. But hey, I mean, impact players are going to be impact players. Huge hit on that one. It's going to be 4th down. Ball kicked over to them. But on 3rd down right here, Mr. Harrington, number 92. Left end, number 92. Remember, it's Michael Bennett. Right side of the defensive line. Nice sack by him. And then a nice ran play right here to Jaworski Lane. That's already a couple runs. Only runs it for about 2 or 3 yards. But he's going to get a ton of credit for it. And then a huge play to wide receiver number 2. Nice pass by Stephen McGee. It's going to be just beyond a 1st down with about 30 or so yards on the catch right there. Just over 200 yards on the day by Stephen McGee. And then a nice run right here by Jaworski Lane. Going to extend the lead. Just coming in this game, I thought it would be more of a fight from Miami. I thought their offense, I thought their quarterback was good enough to where he'd be able to pass the ball a decent amount. Definitely the weakness on this defense is their secondary. So maybe it was just a really good matchup for Texas A&M. Their front seven's been really solid for us. Again, these linebackers have just been sick. Make that 2 sacks now on the day by left outside linebacker number 37. Easily the number 1 leading tackler on this defense. He seems to be a guy that you should make as captain at some point. I know we made D-tackle number 85 the captain at the beginning of the season. I mean, 90 overall or whatever. He seemed to be the most talented player. That doesn't necessarily translate to who needs to be captain. And right now, it seems like the best player on this defense, or at least statistically and through his performance, has been left outside linebacker number 37. And a man who's been performing really well for this wide receiver core, wide receiver number 5. And there you go, players of the game. Right outside linebacker 44. 7 tackles on the day, and then I believe that's 70 yards on 16 attempts. And 2 rushing touchdowns by Jaworski Lane. And notch it as another to the total of Mike Goodson. The man's been an all-purpose beast all season. All-purpose beast all season. And it's going to be a 31-point victory for Texas A&M against this Miami team that, going into, like I said, I just expected a bigger fight from these guys. They're at home at the U. This is the U. I know it's not the U of old, like as if it's Michael Irvin and the boys in the late 80s, early 90s. But come on. I mean, I felt like, Franchiboni was coming in here to have his first real test. And it just didn't seem that way. Just didn't seem that way. But a nice one right there, and Oklahoma State coming up next. As always, fellas, take it easy and see you next time.